Right, so Nautilus Band again, a Hyperflex. Okay, they're taking the Zarya away from Kaltis. I can see multiple AD bans coming through here. Ezreal's probably going to get banned away also. Okay, the Varus, I mean, that's fine. I mean, Varus is in another one of them positions when hyper carries are so good in solo lanes as well that you can go Varus really early in draft. And Millie, okay, so I mean, okay. Yeah, Varus is good. It's back to that previous. Okay, so Ari. So this shows that they're going to look to very aggressively go for jungle, kind of invades, play through that. I mean, Natalia is kind of a classic matchup into it. I don't recommend them taking Twitch this early into the draft. Yeah, I really like Ari first because then you get a really good jungle matchup. Okay, this is exactly what I meant. So now you have this Rek'Sai that has a support for herself as well. So this is really good. Obviously, Wukong is usually a champion that excels, but until he gets to that Divine Sunderer, Rek'Sai is going to have a massive fight. They do take the Ezreal away, but I don't really think they're going to be looking too much for an Ezreal comp here. They're probably going to look for more of a hyper carry. I wouldn't even be surprised if something like Jinx came in here, to be honest, just because Jinx is kind of one of them classic counters to Ezreal. You can also go something like the Kai'Sa as well and play for shutting the Ezreal down, which could be good. Yeah, I think I mean Kai'Sa is super big here. Kai'Sa, I mean Nautilus is banned, but you can even go Kai'Sa like a Mumu, something like that. Aphelios, okay, it's not bad, of course, but I mean it is still a hyper carry. But okay, Thresh, obviously classic. They know exactly what they want here, don't they? They're just absolutely smashing it. Bards, definitely not. I mean, you want something that can just roam because you've got an Ezreal and you've got this big kind of Wukong that wants to be moving. Nami is okay, but I would have even preferred to see something like a Braum or something here, even just to kind of try and shut down some of this engage potential from them. But okay, in terms of the draft right now, I mean, I do much prefer the side of G2 at the minute. I think it's more cohesive with what they actually want to do. I think they've got a really good matchup in bot lane. I mean, the Nami is okay, can play into the Thresh, but it's very much relying on Ezreal getting jumped on, which doesn't really make as much sense, in my opinion. But it could just be a really, really big comfort pick also. Again, yeah, so, I mean, Rek'Sai did get beat up a little bit by Prowler's nerf, but especially when you've got a comp like this, what they're going to be looking to do is get behind into Tribush on red side and just look to kind of tunnel over and get behind the Ezreal Nami. That way she can kind of wait for the Ezreal E. But yeah, so we've got 3 minutes now until it starts just because it's on delay. But yeah, Lulu Cog's good. I would have liked to see either a Kai'Sa or a Jinx just because both are very favorable into Ezreal. But I mean, nobody's really been going for the Jinx in this tournament so far. I'm not sure if it's because they don't value it in the current meta, but I think Jinx is super easy to actually execute, especially through team fights. So I think it still plays really well, especially with something like an Ornn. But I think G2 have all of the, yeah, best of three. So this is the second best of three of the day. And then tomorrow, same time, there's then 3 best of threes, I think. Or finals might be best of 5. I don't think so, though. Yeah, it was a very fast draft. They just kind of, they just kind of went for it. But like, it seems like both teams knew exactly what they wanted here, and I really like that. I think one of the things that I like doing when I draft is just just lock everything, and see where it goes from there. So this is going to be scrappy for sure. Let's see what the cast has to say.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I really like Rek'Sai.
Okay, I guess they're just loving Rek'Sai. I guess that's fine. I mean, Rek'Sai is good. The only issue that I mean, I don't even think it's an issue, right? Because she's just going to act like a bridge jungler in this game. Because they've got Aphelios late game. He's just going to pop over, heal, Bloodthirster, and just never die. So, yeah, we'll see. One thing that would be nice is if they showed runes when the game starts, but they didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to get their multis. But, I mean, it seems like they definitely knew what they wanted to go with. Now, I don't know if it's kind of bluff. Like, they're kind of bluffing it to see what they can do, but I mean, you probably just want to Hail of Blades here, just because you've got plenty of damage in your lanes as well, and I feel like you're not really going for extended fights, especially when you've got like an RE charm for kind of brief window. I mean, Sebel can probably give more input on that, but I think Hail of Blades, because the thing is with Hail of Blades as well, you can get an extra stack of it because of your Q being an AA reset, which is really, really nice. It gives you that extra bit of damage. I mean, Conqueror does stack really, really quick, but I just don't think it's as good. Yeah. Yeah, I think they're going 2v2 into potentially 4v4, 3v3. I think they definitely win the 4v4 in bot side, though, so yeah, they had to restart draft for some reason, apparently, so that's why they're a bit delayed. Mega fight comps. So this is the thing, right? I am of the school of thought that in solo queue, it's usually better to try and avoid team fights unless you get ahead, and then you just kind of snowball them and kind of ruin them. But I think in general, I, I prefer the big team fighting kind of compositions in competitive, because it's like it then becomes down to the actual players to execute it properly. So yeah, in terms of runes, so what is important this one? So again, Caltis, she's got her overheal on. I mean, I don't even need to check. Like, it's obvious. We do have, okay, so we have Dematerializer from the from Tifa as well, which is really good. It just because her goal this game is to just get mid pushed out. Like Dema, so as Ari, I think level 7 you can insta clear the back wave. So you use Dema on cannon, clear back wave, and then look to just rotate. So it becomes super super easy to get that prior around the map as soon as you're level 7, which doesn't come that late because, 7 or so minutes into the game and you get it. If you get kills and stuff, you can get it. I've seen like level 7 at like 5-6 minutes at times, but those are usually really really heavy kind of scrappy games. On Rex, I did go with the Conqueror, which again, I mean, it does work, but I think going into Halo Blades is better, especially because the reason why Halo Blades is really good as well is because you get access to Treasure Hunter, which Treasure Hunter gives you such a huge spike, which when you're looking for lethality items, it can really, really change your game. So I think it can be very, very good. But yeah, let's see what they decide to go into. So, yeah. I mean, if they're behind, it's a little bit rough, but I mean, I don't think they'll ever be in a point where they're too far behind if they play it right. This is the thing. So a lot of the times, I often feel like with these comps, like you don't have many. How to put it? You should be ahead if they win the tourney. I just think it's a cash prize. I don't think it's massive, but again, it's something. I mean, any tournament is good in my opinion. But yeah, let's see where they go to on this. So I mean, the thing is as well, like, it's very obvious what G2 want to go with. I think I think the saving grace of Vitality have is the fact that Ezreal is very very strong, and also the fact that they can kind of potentially avoid some of the plays from that, and they did get that ward in that bush, which is really nice. So, I mean, you can see Thresh is walking up very, very aggressively here. Or sorry, sitting in an aggressive position. I don't know. So she did sat E, which is good. Oh, okay. I don't know. Observer's taking it off a little bit. So Rek'Sai deciding to... Okay, interesting path in. I would have liked to see Rek'Sai go red into Raptor's Krugs and then look for bot. She would have known that this ward was there, so she could have kind of pathed around past where the blast cone is and then gone through into bot lane, because now, I mean, Wukong's not going to really look to go for a cheese gank bot. I hope not anyway, but I mean, the way he's pathing it could potentially. I could be looking for it. Oh no, he's just going to go straight to red. I mean, blue last. I mean, it's good. It means that she gets to keep the blue for a longer kind of period of time, which is really good for skirmish potential. But she's about to get spotted on this ward on Raptors now. Rek'Sai is going for that triple camp, but triple camp into bot. I'm not sure if this is going to work though. I mean, there is a big wave. I mean, even if they manage to push them away from the wave, it's good. Oh, bubble. Ooh, I mean, a little bit rough. Like, the Wukong should have just been pathing straight into topside right now. I mean, I think she's going to try and go for Krugs as well, maybe, which might be a little bit of a mistake. I think right now, Wukong should just be moving into topside jungle with this Cassante prior. Yeah, way too fast. Yeah, if they just push them away from the tower there and deny that huge wave, then that's massive. But, yeah. Yeah, I mean, solo play for Caltus as well. This is the thing. So I feel like the Wukong's just not really looking to play aggressive enough, especially when Cassante had Prio there. And also, Talia was doing okay in mid. I think he could have just looked to go and force on this blue. Too late to do anything now. I mean, maybe double crabs, but... I mean, there's no way Wukong should be able to get this second crab in bot side, especially with the amount of prio that Aphelios has. 7 CS lead already by 4 minutes and 1 plate. Like, it's already setting up to be a huge game. So, one thing that I don't like that Cassante's doing is he's kind of still interacting with the wave, especially when Rek'Sai could be coming up. I guess he's trimming it off just because afraid of being dove, but... This is really good though, so we can see that the wave is they're allowing the wave to kind of come back in here. Oh, going for a fight when the wave is pulling in. I'm not too sure about that one, especially with Rek'Sai being on the top side of the map and Wukong being in bottom side. I think going for that trade there was kind of grief actually. I think if she just lets that wave come in instead, then she can farm safely until Rek'Sai is back. Okay. Okay, I mean... Oh no. Oh no. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. Okay. Ooh, that was a really bad flash though from Tifa. Right, and now she loses his cannon too. Like in those situations, you just want to accept that you have, you've kind of like griefed it a little bit by staying there. But I mean, bot lane showing that they don't really care about kind of lane states, which again, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Oh, a 2-second pause. So, I mean, again, they're not, like, top lane's kind of open to do whatever they want, but Wukong is pathing towards top side, so it can be a little bit rough if he does any too much. So, I mean, we do have 10 CS lead already in bot side. It's coming up to about 200 gold advantage already for the Aphelios with just that, but Aphelios did actually pick up a cull here. So, going to be looking to use that. So, I mean, to be fair, it's looking kind of good for Vitality. I mean, they've tried flipping the game way too hard. Like, usually when you're into something like a Talia as, like, mid lane, when you're Rek'Sai, you don't really want to be ganking it too much because she has peel to get away from you. You just kind of want to be shadowing and letting Ari push the wave in so that she gets prio and then can rotate with you and move around the map like that. I think she's going to try and force it again, which she's really trying to overforce here, especially considering Wukong is clearing very, very quick. We can see that Wukong is already up by 4 treats on his jungle item, which, yeah, I don't think Bruiser Rek'Sai's it this game either. I think, I don't know if she's OTP. G2 Sheena. Let's have a look. I mean, she's played it a lot. I mean, 63% win rate, 30 games in Masters, 350. But, I don't... I mean, maybe I'm missing something. But, yeah, I don't think... I mean, she played it a lot more last season, actually. She's played it consistently throughout the years. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. But, again, I don't think it's the play. Okay, big play on top side. I mean, the Cassante might actually just manage to get this kill, but actually no, Rek'Sai has arrived. Okay, so that actually gets Rek'Sai very much back in the game just from the kill XP. Vibe banned. I can't remember. I think it was, yeah. I'll have a look when I review it after this anyway. But... okay, so the kind of issue that they're going to run into soon is Aphelios is actually going to finish Stormrazor, which is going to give him a massive amount of power. Ezreal at the moment is in a position where he's actually very, very strong because he's picked up his Sheen. So, if anything, the Wukong needs to be bot lane, like, just to kind of utilize that. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't mind the B1 Ari. I think B1 Ari is okay due to the fact that they knew that they wanted to play for jungle, and Ari does that better than most, to be honest. I mean, like I said, you can go things like LeBlanc, but then you end up with some potentially awkward matchups. You get things like Lissandra coming through, which Lissandra isn't a massive... Lissandra is seen as like a hard counter, but it's not really. One of the issues you get with Lissandra, though, is that ultimate on hypercarry ADCs makes it kind of really rough to play. I mean, LeBlanc, Lissandra is more of a skill matchup, but it's often just traded. Because they do kind of do somewhat similar things. They work like a lot around lockdown and getting jungle ahead, but we can see that Kaltis, again, is getting a huge lead. So I think in terms of, yeah, I mean, you can go with like a B1 like Jinx and stuff like that, but you have to have an AD carry that you can build a comp around. But I don't really think Ari B1 is locking you into a style. It's not like, for example, Kai'Sa B1 where you're locked into the all-in, because Ari is kind of a really versatile champion. She can do a lot of things, and if you can get a good jungle matchup, which like Rek'Sai can be really, really good into Wukong early if you kind of go down the lines of like Halo Blades, Dirk first by stuff like that. So one of the big things with Dirk is it's the gold value of lethality is untrue. So what I mean by that is, for example, the way you work out gold efficiency is you take the cheapest item that you can. So let's say we're trying to work out AD. You take a longsword, divide the amount of the gold by the AD, so you get 1 AD for 35 gold, and then you can use that to work out everything else, right? Now, the thing is with lethality is it's only worth 5 gold in theory for the gold that you put into it, but in practice, it's actually worth 43 gold per 1 lethality, which was confirmed by Riot when they changed the Ornn items. So when they made it so that I think Ornn's items used to give like 2 to 2.5 thousand gold each, which was unreal, and that's when we were in a massive Ornn meta. But then when they changed it, they made it so that all Ornn items are roughly 1,000 gold, and that kind of meant that when Duskblade got upgraded, it was only providing about 700 gold of value. So when you actually worked out the maths on it, it actually turned out that lethality was kind of confirmed by Riot to be at 43 gold each. So that's why when you go Dirk, it's incredibly valuable because you get such a huge amount of gold spikes. So Halo Blades, Dirk Rush, Rek'Sai is super, super good for that because you get this really big early lead just through items, and then you can lock down lanes super, super hard, which when you've got Aphelios, that's very, very good to do. But I think here she put way too much emphasis on getting mid lane behind, which I think the logic behind it was if she can get her Ahri ahead, then she can look to rotate with her and do a lot. But now we're seeing Sheena come more into bot lane, which is exactly what we wanted to see from the start, because now she can actually have some influence over this this lane. That, I mean, Aphelios is already 119 CS up, so already plus 30, which is significantly large, especially because I mean, that's about 2 kills worth of gold. That's about 600 gold advantage. Now using the Herald here also is just going to mean that they're going to pump so much gold. It's unfortunate that they only got the 1 plate there, but I mean, it's not too bad. The good thing is though, Thresh backed away from the tower to give a bigger cut of the gold over to the Aphelios Rek'Sai, which again is actually really, really good. That was weird. It looked like the Q didn't actually do true damage there, but it did. So again, I mean, we've got the Stormrazor coming in from Aphelios. We've got Cull, which again, as soon as she completes this Cull, that's going to be a nice 180 gold advantage over to Kaltis as well, which means as soon as she's got that, she's going to snowball pretty hard. Has gone with regular boots for the time being. Could opt into the attack speed boots, but I think more so we want to be looking towards just going for Mythic. Now, what Mythic she's going to go with, I think probably, considering she's going full crit build, she's probably going to be going with a Gale Force. Again, Gale Force at the moment is just ridiculously overtuned. ridiculously overtuned on crit ADCs. 400% crit like multiplier is unreal. I think that's the highest. That's the highest ratio of anything in the game. I think Annie ult was previously the highest ratio at. I think it was, but yeah, now it's kind of nuts. Actually, yeah, Nico's ult's 120. I remember seeing somewhere that it was Annie, so yeah, I'm wrong on that one, but I mean, a lot of Eve's comes from the execute though. But I mean, empowered is 180%, so yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just wrong on that one. I could have swore somewhere that someone said it was Annie. I think it was actually on LEC, and I just didn't fact check it, so my bad. Unless it's... Okay, so actually we've got a rotation coming in here. I mean, this is actually a really good rotation though, because at this point, like, Ornn can hold Ezreal in bot lane, and they prioritize Herald earlier because they want that extra gold into Kaltis as soon as possible. So this is actually a really good call to rotate. Ooh, yeah, true. That is actually a really good shout there. I mean, Yumu's is incredibly valuable. Like, the thing is, you usually want enchanters with Ornn anyway, because enchanter items are just absolutely bonkers with that damage, so... Yeah, yeah, I guess that was just wrong information. Oh, okay, really big fight here though, but Chubby Daddy is no more. So again, like, one of the things that we're noticing here is it's not necessarily the Vitality are playing bad, but G2 understand their win condition way more. Not sure what that Thresh Q was about. That was a bit far out. I guess she was trying to predict the W, which again, I'm all for that. I mean, I think if she would have managed to predict that W, it would have looked so cool. So again, I'm fine with that, especially considering they don't really have much skin in the game for that fight anyway. So it's not actually too bad. Yeah, this is the thing though, right? I mean, Kaltis is getting very heavily funneled. I mean, not sure what she's choosing to go into yet, since she only really has a BF right now. But as soon as she picks up that Mythic, she is going to do massive amounts of damage. So the thing is, at this point as well, Rek'Sai can happily fall off because Aphelios is ahead. Now, the kind of catch to that is Aphelios is ahead through their own doing rather than through jungle's doing. But again, it's completely fine. They're just going to be looking to get catches with this Ahri. Again, Essence Reaver so far for the Ezreal going into Mana Moon. I mean, as soon as he gets Mana Moon, now, I don't like this itemization for Ezreal though. What I prefer for Ezreal is you pick up your Sheen, which is a huge spike, and then you literally just rush your Mana Moon. And by the time you've got to your Mana Moon, you end up with your full stacks. So I usually prefer that over finishing the Essence Reaver, but just because Mana Moon gives more damage overall. But I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, a lot of people still go Essence Reaver Rush. It's still viable, but I think you can just get a little bit more damage out of that Mana Moon Rush. But we'll see what's going here. Obviously, Ezreal is still one of those champions where you can kind of build anything in terms of Mythic. So we'll see. Again, 2k gold lead, but the thing to note here is that the gold for the side of Vitality is more so in the Talia and a little bit in the Wukong, whereas the gold for the side of G2 Hal is way more in the Aphelios, which is going to mean that even though the gold difference isn't that substantial on paper, it's going to feel a lot bigger, especially when they get into these team fights. Okay, managed to get the hook onto Ezreal, burns flash straight away, which is actually a really good flash. It means that she's not getting greedy with that, which is good. I mean, at this point of the game, you don't really need to force too much with Thresh anyway. You could just kind of wait for just a lucky hook and then go from there, or you can wait for Aphelios to get his Graviton. At the moment, Aphelios does need to sort gun rotations out. Calibrum here Again, it's going to help a little bit with Siege, but you do want to be looking to get that Equilibrium gone quite soon, and then look to start a big team fight. But again, not too bad for just poking them out, getting a little bit of aggression early. So another big thing is obviously we do have the lethal tempo coming out of Aphelios as well, which is going to be massive value, especially when Ornn and Thresh are walking up. So that's going to be something that we're probably going to see in team fights soon. Again, 2k gold lead. This is two kind of premier teams at the end of the day, so this was always going to be very, very close. I am a little bit, not sad, but it is a little bit of a shame that both of these teams are in the initial the first round, but I guess the reason why they wanted to do that is because they're not streaming all 4 of the games in the first round. They're only streaming the one that we had earlier and this one, so just 2 of 4. So I guess that's why they've done it, but it does mean that either Vitality or G2 aren't going to end up getting through to the second round, but it's not too bad. In terms of items at the moment, Rek'Sai is getting quite close to Black Cleaver. Obviously, Black Cleaver is going to provide massive value for the Aphelios, just because it's going to amplify the damage that he can output really, really hard. But yeah, we see where it goes. Thresh opting into Shurelias, which, again, I know Shurelias gets a lot of hate, but when you're playing this comp where you just kind of want to run into them as quick as possible and get a pick, it's not too bad, because as soon as you pop the Shurelias, you force them into a position where they have to instantly make a decision on your timer, which is really good. Hey, how's it going? How's it going, Monk? Ooh, didn't realize it was Talk to Monk Day in the chat. Ooh. Yeah, I like Shurelias. I think a lot of people often kind of clown on Shurelias, but I think most of the time in the game, if you're the one, ooh, really nice hook coming through, he will manage to get the W off, but it doesn't actually matter. Okay. Wukong really getting picked there. Not very good at all, considering they were fighting for mid prio. So yeah, not too much. Again, we will kind of discuss why that's important more so in the review. But again, really good. So yeah, like I was saying, I think forcing enemies to make decisions on a timer that they don't want to make is always really, really high value. Yeah. So again, not bad at all. So right now they are Baron is available. So at this point, Kaltis does have to just get rid of both guns, because what they want to be doing at this point is she wants to force herself onto red white and then reset. Yeah, so there was some issues with overlays and stuff like that. So Monk, this is Pathfinders. So this is the women's tournament that is put on. So this is G2 versus Vitality at the moment. So yeah, these are some of the best women in League in Europe. And again, I mean, to be fair, there's also an argument that these are some of the best players in general in Europe, which is very exciting, in my opinion. Like, people like Kaltis, even Tifa, like, showing that they are very good, just full stop. So, yeah, I often dislike sometimes when people are like, oh, these are the best women in Europe, because they can contest the top spots of both genders, which is very nice to see. So, okay, we've even got the honor recall on a jungler. That's a rare thing to see, to be honest. Nah, I'm just kidding. So again, we have the Gale Force coming in for yeah, I mean, eventually Emily is somebody that can potentially be here. I think Emily's about to hit top 10 highest peaks of any woman in Europe, which is funny considering she didn't play solo queue before. And I was like, hey, can you play some solo queue? And she's like, yeah, sure, why not? And absolutely smashed it. So yeah, love to see it. But yeah, and that's the thing, it's all about giving people the opportunities. So I mean, if I'm a coach looking for new players and new talent, this is definitely somewhere I'm 100% going to be looking. It's good to keep track of a lot of kind of high elo players, and tournaments like this just showcase what people can potentially do. We had a team earlier called C as well, where individually some of them were lower ranked, but it didn't really matter because their cohesion as a team was so good that they managed to end up kind of snowballing. Now, wasn't as difficult as a team or as these, but I'll be very interested to see how they do in the round 2 against Clash, which tomorrow. But Tifa getting caught out there, didn't actually take the Thresh Lantern either has to use Ultimate, and now they lose priority for Baron. So it's actually a really good position for Vitality because they can push this in now, use this pressure to potentially get this tower, and then maybe look to get control of Vision around Baron now. So this is really good for the side of Vitality, to be honest. Especially considering they are down on gold. So managing to get control of this top side of the map, even down on gold, is actually a really big step towards them potentially bringing this game back now. Again, Kaltis is looking very, very big. Plus 50 CS at the moment. That's nearly 4 kills advantage over the Ezreal in CS alone without the assists. So again, we're looking about 1200 gold advantage at the minute for the side of Aphelios against Ezreal. So that's really, really good. Kaltis items, what about them? I actually think it's good. Gale Force is very, very overtuned right now. If you're a crit AD, then Gale Force is very, very good. Because again, 400% scaling. And like the good thing about Gale Force as well here is because it's an execute, and when you activate Gale Force, the area that you activate it will always go off because it kind of hones in on them. So even if Ezreal uses his E to get away, if she gets the Gale Force off before that, then she's still going to get the damage off and he's still going to die. So it's actually a really good pick here, in my opinion. Now, we are seeing some cracks coming from Tifa a little bit earlier into the game, but I mean, it's not too bad. Talia is a little bit ahead, but again, she got to choose her matchup, so it's kind of to be expected. My mustache tickled my nose. So, again, opting into the Last Whisper over the crit cloak early. Usually I like to get the crit cloak, especially when you've got 2 crit items already, because even that 15% is really, really valuable when you get into 50+% crit. Thresh just throwing the hooks, not a big fan, especially considering they do have the potential to flash EQ, especially considering bot wave. This is a really, really concerning thing for Vitality because they're opting to really, really play towards this mid side, which definitely not good. Okay, nice little pick, maybe. Wukong has to use ult 4. Unlucky. So, maybe Kaltis can just clean up this fight. Again, it goes over to the Thresh. That's unfortunate. But the good thing here is, even though Tifa died, she did give... Okay. Okay, let's go. There we go. There's the Aphelios we all love. There's the 200 years. Okay, that was massive. That was actually really good play. Now they get this dragon. I don't know which dragon this is. I did ask if they can sort out dragons, but they were having some technical difficulties, unfortunately, but that's fine. Unfortunately, White Gun is gone. The thing that a lot of Aphelios players don't do, though, which is really good, is... you can see that Kaltis is consistently swapping between the guns that she does not want so that she can rotate the guns at an equal time. So you want to basically make sure that you finish off both of these guns at the exact same time so that you can eventually get to that red-white. As soon as she gets red-white, I can see G2 heavily forcing a Baron at this point, especially on 3-item spike with that LDR coming through. So now Kaltis can play very easily front to back. She can melt this Cassante and the Wukong due to her items. So again, it's looking very good for G2 at this point. Aphelios has everything that she needs. Oh, sorry, Kaltis has everything that she needs. So, again as well, like, I'm not a big fan of the cleanse on Ezreal. Like, purely because, you know, like, obviously you do have the Ahri and the Thresh, but you have E to kind of, even if the CC goes through. Now, obviously it was more so taken for the Thresh because it completely dissipates the hook, whereas his E does not. The Thresh can still follow up into the E. But I feel like if you're getting caught by rogue Qs on things like Ezreal, then you're out of position anyway, and it's kind of rough in general. But yeah, I think this game... Okay, Ezreal did pick up his Yumu's though, so maybe if Ezreal can potentially get a pick on Kaltis, that's huge. But when you've got things like an Ornn and a Thresh as frontline, it's not really gonna be too hot. But we do have Radiant Virtue upgraded. We have Gale Force upgraded now. I would probably maybe look to upgrade the Shirelius next. Just because then it gives Thresh more value in the front line, which I personally really, really like. We are kind of in a side lane right here, but again, this is exactly where Ornn wants to be. Has TP, so well, both top laners have TP available. Wukong gets caught though. Okay, so good. That was actually a really good play by the Rek'Sai to back away from the fight after Wukong went W, just because otherwise she would have got caught there. But again, locking down. So this is actually a play that you often want to make. You often want to go push mid out, go and get vision, and then you want to return to mid lane, push it out again, and then go and use the vision that you've already secured in order to get an advantage on the objective. So that's kind of what they're going for here. So really good macro play by the side of G2 also. Like they're really showing that they're very, very prepared and they synergize well as a team. Or to play devil's advocate, it could be one of the players just deciding, hey, this is what we need to do, and then everybody follows it. That often happens a lot, but we can see now because of the vision control that they've got here, the side of Vitality don't even know that they're on this dragon at the moment. Wukong is here though. This is a 50-50. They want to hold it on 2k. So here, hold it. I mean, 3k is quite high to hold, but okay, they're deciding to just back away. I guess with Rek'Sai and Thresh and Tifa all being about 30% HP, but they need to get this mid lane pushed out. The unfortunate thing is here, Kaltis has her red-white guns, so they do want to be looking to kind of start forcing fights before she runs out of ammo, but due to them kind of backing away from this Baron, I'm very hesitant that they're not actually going to have enough ammo now to go to Baron on that rotation. They're probably going to have to look for maybe like a white-blue or maybe even a red-blue. I mean, blue can be okay because there's a massive amount of AoE damage, but white is like massive amounts of single-target damage, which is so valuable. They do have Hex Gates in. Again, Vitality often not opting into securing mid-prio. It seems like a lot of these situations, they're just kind of giving it away and allowing G2 to do whatever they want to. They are going to go for the soul point though. I mean, Ocean is very, very scary when you're playing into a Thresh Ornn, especially considering Ornn can upgrade Thresh item and make him really, really valuable. Okay, a really big fight in mid coming through. Thresh just needs to look to get a... Ooh, blind hooks I really don't like. If Thresh looks to like flash EQ, it's going to be way more valuable than just blind Qs. I mean, although, to be fair, they can front to back quite... Okay, yeah, okay. K'Sante is massively caught out here, and a huge ult from Ornn to kill the Wukong off as well. Tifa is looking for an E, manages to get Talia's flash, but I think they just have to stop forcing now and go for this Baron. They do need to clear away the vision, so they will basically know that they're on it, but I don't think there's much they can do now with Ornn and K'Sante down. Vitality are getting very impatient with what they want to do. Yeah, I mean, surely not. I mean, Rek'Sai's... Ooh. I mean, yeah. I mean, we don't have TP from Ornn. Rek'Sai's going to try this. Observers. Oh! The steal! Okay. Okay. They don't give away a dragon, you're right. Yeah, I think Vitality are quite tilted off this. I'm very intrigued to see what they're going to do to vary the next game. I think you can't really give Aphelios to somebody like Kaltis. We do have the Bloodthirster come through now as well, so Bloodthirster actually adds a lot more value to Calibrum also, because you can get massive amounts of damage from far away, especially considering Calibrum ups your attack range to 650 as well while you have it active. So it means when you are in team fights, it's still somewhat valuable because you have that extra layer of safety, especially into lower range ADs. But obviously they do have an Ezreal who's very much based around his Q damage, but again, Again, Cassante getting caught here. Ultimate actually hinders Cassante, if anything, because it means that he has a much lower pool of HP. But unfortunately, they didn't manage to get him, but they do get control of topside from this with Baron as well. This is very, very scary, especially if they manage to get this top inhib, which I don't think they're going to manage to get it, to be honest. I think it's very risky, and they do have a fair amount of... sixth item. I mean, is he even going to get to sixth item? I don't think Collector's the play. I think maybe just GA. Like, now, don't get me wrong. GA is quite a bad item, but when you've got this big of a bounty on you, you get to go into Stopwatch, which is probably one of the highest value items you can get on one slot. And then you can go into GA, and that'll give you the ability to kind of walk up and be a lot more aggressive. But the fact that they've got this inhibitor now, it's going to open up the map so that the top lane's going to be pushing in by the time the dragon comes up. And yeah, it's definitely over. I mean, they don't even need Elder at this point. I do think they probably need to look to get a reset in here, though. Reset, go take control of bot side, and then just look to push third inhib. I think going for the end here is maybe a little bit risky, but actually, it doesn't even matter. I mean, Talia's dead, all up. Nah, never mind, they're strong enough to just end it out. Vitality don't really have any wave clear at this point. Okay, fair enough. I mean, they're just that far ahead. Oh, or maybe. Never mind. Again, blood tester spikes, super powerful. Okay, so very, very big game from the side of G2 HAL. It seemed very much like they were way more coordinated with what they wanted to do, which is incredibly valuable. Right, let's